And good afternoon, dear commanders, or retro commanders, or what we were back then, teenagers, or just people who are reminiscing about the good old days. Of course, the main big thing about the good old days, the reason that the good old days are the good old days, is that they aren't here anymore. But never mind, never mind. We are back online with the ZX Spectrum playthrough of Elite. The original Elite game from 1984. Originally out on the BBC Micro and the Commodore 64 in 1984, not ported to the Spectrum until 1985, as we've learnt throughout all of these streams. And my mission here is to trigger all the original missions in the original Spectrum game, so they're recorded for posterity, and any other weirdness and wackiness that we encounter along the way. And we have encountered a bit of wackiness. There's a few things that and I played this game to absolute death back in the 80s as a teenager, and I've still, despite that, learnt some things about the game that I didn't know, which has been quite fun to discover. So it's all interesting stuff. It is all interesting stuff. All right, let me just go and load up, and I'll because we haven't done this for a missed it last week because of my wedding anniversary. Which thank you for so many of you who turned up to that. Really appreciate the company there. That was really good. Lovely to see you all, and thank you very much. So yes, 25 years of mostly wedded bliss. Been a few ups and downs on the way, as you can probably imagine, but 25 years that's all right, isn't it? That makes me feel very old. And I do have my 50th. Can you believe that? My 50th birthday coming up, which, considering I was a teenager when I was playing this game, does make me feel pretty old. Anyway, so lovely to see you in the chat. So Aliens here, Caffeine Powered Frog, excellent. Tamaru Hake, Goldzer, Steve is here, Mental Dave, Commander Ariok, Sophia, the Mighty Foz, Aliens, Spore Bomb, excellent. I love the names. Doom Face Killer. Half of these I can't even pronounce. Kelly Baglar, JC, I don't even know how to pronounce that one. JC Batala, Woody, good to see you. G11 and Mandangus, there we go. Fantastic. Goldson says I was 6 when you got married. Thanks. Thank you very much. Steve's only here for the moral support. Yeah, because some of us are of advancing years, aren't we? But never mind. There we go. So Calder says, what emulator are you using? Is it a free download? There's a free demo version. I am using Spectaculator, which I can show you briefly. Actually, I haven't shown you the emulator much, so maybe we'll just take a very quick look at that. So this is the emulator that I'm using. It's called Spectaculator. It's very good. Okay, it emulates. It's not free, but you can play it, I think, for a little bit. To evaluate it, but it's certainly one that I found really good. It allows you to emulate all the different models of the Spectrum, as you can see here, and you can even emulate some of the sort of slightly wackier ones. You can also emulate the additional hardware. Things like ZX Interface 1, the micro drives, all that sort of good stuff, and the printer. You can change the CPU speed, so if you need a bit of boost to some of the old games, you can do that. Right up to 100 megahertz, which is insane, because the default is 3.5, which is the original speed of the Spectrum. And there's lots and lots of other bits and pieces in here. So there are lots of other emulators out there. Totally appreciate that, but this is the one that I've used and found it the easiest to get on with. But it isn't free, but it's not that expensive. I can't remember now how much it was. You can mimic TV screens. There's lots of stuff here that makes it very pleasant and simple to use. You can get your joystick to be mapped and all those kind of things, and I'm sure all the other emulators do things like that as well. But it's very good. You can also do other bits and pieces, like you can poke the memory. That you can switch on cheat options for various games. There's a debugger, so you can go and access the memory and go and have a look at all what's actually happening inside the Spectrum as you're playing a game. You can do all sorts of things. It does audio recording, other bits and pieces as well. So it's actually a really good emulator. It also, the one I particularly like is it does have an option to load from tape at the original speed, so you can do that sort of thing as well. So there we go. I haven't been paid for this review, no. I just played around with some emulators, and I like the way this one worked the best. Yeah, totally personal preference. And it does have this quick load, quick save option, which is very good for playing games like Elite. So enough. There we go. There we go. So Spectacular is at 8.0, I think it is. Very good. I like it. Right. So ZX Spectrum. There we go. Let's put that back to that mode. Then we can get the maximum amount of screen on there. There we go. 30 days free trial on the tenner. So yeah, about 10 quid, which actually for what you're getting, I think isn't bad. How am I doing? I'm doing okay. We're having a bit of a funny day, just in general terms. But you know, never mind. Life goes on. We need to crack on with life. Who would ever need 100 megabytes? I'd like to see a stream of Elite with a split screen, one side Spectrum, the other side CC. Yeah, so I might try and do a stream at some point on comparison between some of those early 8-bit versions of Elite. That might be quite good fun. See if we can do that. Yeah, so when I saw that link. Somebody else posted it to me on Twitter. So yeah, so very, very interesting. It appears that we may have found a candidate for the location of the Dark Wheel space station, but whether it's genuine and whether there's anything there for us to discover, it's not entirely sure. So yeah, so thank you very much for that, Winnie. It is fascinating. I need to dig into it a bit more. I did skim it earlier this morning over a cup of tea. Yeah, so anybody who's interested in the search for Raxler and the Dark Wheel, it's definitely worth checking out that thread, because it appears that possibly, and I do like the way that the person on Reddit came up with an in-law, in-game explanation of what happened, and then sort of jumped out into the meta and basically said, well, we found a bit of an exploit here by using a fleet carrier to interrogate the Universal Cartographics database. So yeah, so interesting stuff is happening. So maybe things are moving. We'll have to wait and see. But anyway, lovely to see you all. But yeah, we're back in time. We're in the year 3125. We're playing the original Elite here, and we're on a quest to unlock more missions. So good to see you, Commander Sinclair, and Mal for the win. Good morning. Well, good afternoon here, but good morning, presumably wherever you are, which is fantastic. That's what I like about streaming, is no idea where people are watching. So there we go. So where were we? Okay, for 2 weeks ago we had achieved the second mission, which isn't really a mission, but we're going to call it a mission, which was the pirates. And we discovered that, you know, they have a tendency to stop the space station spinning and all sorts of stuff. Now, the problem with that was that it was quite hard for us to tell. In fact, we couldn't tell coming up to a space station. If we used the docking computer, we had no idea whether the pirates were going to be an issue or not. And the gameplay design of that bit wasn't very good, because basically the pirates turned up, it was game over. Okay, there's nothing we could do about it at all. So that wasn't great gameplay, but it was something that is in the Spectrum version. So it's good that we catalogued it. It was quite funny. But good old Commander Ariok, who I haven't seen on the stream today, but he's been doing some research, and he's found some stuff online about how to disable the pirates, which may be useful to us. So what we can do is we can enter the magical world of pokes. Now, those of you who aren't familiar with the old 8-bit computers, this may seem a little bit strange, but it does have analogies today. It's basically editing the memory of the computer whilst the game is running. Okay, what that Commander Ariok is here. Excellent. So props to Commander Ariok for digging this one out. But we can basically change the contents of memory on these 8-bit computers by just interrupting the game, going to the address and putting a different value in it, and then resuming the game. And if you know which addresses in memory to change, you can change the nature of the game. Now, what that means is that we can disable the pirate flag permanently. And we could give ourselves infinite lives and infinite missiles and all sorts of other things. But I'm not going to do that, okay? But just for our own convenience, I am going to disable the pirates from now on. Because it's a bit of a pain. Now, if it doesn't work, we've also found another in-game workaround, which exploits a little bit of a loophole in the save tape mechanism of the Spectrum, such that if you apparently die because of the pirates, if you save your game at that point and then reload it, or something like that, I'll check out the exact. I think you just have to save it. Then the game thinks, aha. I will return you to the start screen, but it doesn't. It returns you back to where you were, so you suddenly get reincarnated. So quite what the lore about that is, I'm not sure, but we're going to try it. So on the emulator, I just need to go back to this screen here. On the emulator, I have an option to poke the memory of the ZX Spectrum directly, and so here is the correct poke that I need. Poke 55315, 254. Now the reason it's that is that that basically changes the flag for this particular version of Elite. Now I've determined I'm running the 128K version of Elite here. I wasn't sure, actually I had to go and work it out, because I've got a version here without the lens lock system in it. So it's actually the slightly later version of Elite that I'm running. It doesn't actually make any difference to the gameplay. They didn't really change that, but it's important for the pokes because some of the memory stuff was moved around. So we're going to do that now. So I'm going to go here, poke the memory. The address is 55315, and I'm going to put the value 254 into that memory and apply it. There we go, it's done. That should have switched the pirates off. We'll see if it works. There we go. Now what should happen is we shouldn't have a pirate infestation. If we do, then we'll try the other workaround and reincarnate ourselves using the save game mechanism. So it's all good fun. It's all good fun. So anyway, thank you very much to Commander Ariok who worked that out for me. And then this is cheating. This is the early genesis of cheat codes. Okay, so cheat codes. Some games did have them built in, so you could type cheat codes into the menus. But on these 8-bit computers, there was no kind of standard memory protection or anything like that. You had access to all the memory of the computer. So if you knew where to go, you could change anything about the game. If you randomly did it, you'd break it. Of course, you'd crash it. But if you knew where the variables were set, that toggled things like missions or contents of cargo bays or whatever it happened to be, you could just go and directly edit the memory and boom, there you go, you had everything. Which isn't really in the spirit of the game, but it's it's fun to play. You probably can generate the missions. I don't know how to do that. There we go. So wait a minute, there's Rexler. I missed it. No, I don't think Rexler's on here, is it? We're pretty sure it's not in the original system. And am I David Braben? No, I'm not. No, I'm not. If I was David Braben, I'd be relaxing in my mansion with my millions of pounds of stuff about. I'm definitely not David Braben. No, I'm nearly as old as David Braben. Actually, David Braben was 50 in the year of the Kickstarter, which was 2012 or 2013 or 2014. No, I think it was 2014. So he is 6 years older than me. So David Braben must have been 56, I think, this January gone. His birthday's in January, I know that. So there we go. It's a Braben hat. Is it a Braben hat? I don't know. Does David Braben wear a hat? I don't think I've ever seen David Braben wear a hat. So anyway, there we go. Never mind. Does he use just for me? I couldn't possibly comment. He looks remarkably well preserved for 56, I have to say. I look a lot older than him, and I'm 6 years younger. And I definitely don't, as you can see. I am 100% natural. So there we go. But anyway. So, he probably uses something much posher than Just for Men, actually, because he's super rich, isn't he, David Braben? So there we go. There was a poke on the 48K Spectrum version to blow up a space. Well, we're hoping to be able to blow up a space station in the game. So there we go. No, Commander Sinclair, you're quite right. David Braben is probably immortal. He's probably got a picture in the attic at Frontier Developments, which is aging, and he's staying the same. He looks pretty well preserved. Although a lot of people commented on my stream last week that my wife does the same thing. She hasn't aged at all in 25 years. So there we go. Now, going back to the game, which is the point of this stream, other than talking about David Braben's haircut. But all hail the Braben, yes, all hail the Braben. Otherwise we wouldn't be here doing this. But I must always point out that Ian Bell is also part of this as well. Where are we and what are we doing? There we go. Right, so in order to get the next mission, we need to have done a stack load of hyperspace jumps. So now we know that we've got a workaround for the pirates. We should be able to what my plan was to go to two very close systems and just up the jump count a lot. try to do that for a bit. To see if we can get the mission tree. We need to get that jump count up, and I don't. Trouble is, there's no in-game counter showing you roughly where you are, so we're just going to have to eyeball it roughly. We got to get a whole bunch of jumps in, and the best way to do that is to go to two places that are not very far apart and do lots of jumps back and forth, and that will up our jump count. Then we'll go to the space station and avoid the pirates. Either hopefully the poke will sort that out for us, or we go through this save mechanism and try it that way. So there we go. Lord Braben will never get old. No, he won't. A Dark Wheel Reddit link you posted is timing out. Is it? Okay, so that's interesting. Maybe somebody's edited it out. So I might have to summarise it a bit. So maybe Winnie's got another a link to something like that. So interesting. I don't know whether that's maybe the the bug in the fleet carrier's got a little bit too close to the ULA in terms of using the game for purposes which are not appropriate. I don't know. We'll wait and see. But anyway, let's get on with this version of Elite because we're still trying to work out the mysteries of this version. But yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Off we go. Oh, it's like an old friend, this version of Elite. It's just so familiar. Right. So what am I doing? Right. I'm going there. Right. Hyperspace. To Eddie QQ or something. I'm still working according to Winnie. Okay, there we go. So I'm literally only doing the one poke. The idea is still to play the game because it's it's nice to talk to you guys while I am doing it. So let's go there. And we'll go hyperspace again. We're just going to get some jumps because the mission triggers seem to be the hyperspace jump. I don't think there's any other clue as to whether or not the ASP mission, which is the next one, is going to trigger or not. Drew Wager, are you into the Dark Wheel Rexler theory? Very much so, yes. I've been investigating Rexler since this game, back in 1985. So, yes, you could say that. So, yes, so the Dark Wheel and Rexler is definitely something of interest to me. Always has been. And, of course, it was introduced in this version of Elite. It's not an Elite Dangerous mystery, it's an original Elite mystery. It goes back to the original book that came with this copy of the game back in the 80s called The Dark Wheel. Actually, that's what the book was called, which sets out the history of Raxler and everything else as well. So the legend starts way back, long before Elite Dangerous was a thing, back in the ancient mists of time, back in the mid-80s. Right, so we've done a bunch of jumps there. That's probably the last one we're going to be able to manage. Let's hope that poker's worked, because we're going to go back to the space station. I think we've got enough for another jump. 0.8 light years, probably not. No, so we've got to go to the station now. So let's do that. Off we go. And there's a pirate. Steve is still hunting. Raxler down. Have I seen the movement to get the Dark Wheel turning? Yes, I have. I intend to be joining in with that in game when I have an opportunity. I've got the 6-week extended part of the lore tour to complete first, which means flying out to the Formidine Rift. Asp did quite well, actually. Where is he? There he is. Fly in a straight line, my friend. That's a very foolish thing to do. Boom, gotcha. So yeah, so we've got a 6-week expedition out to the Formidine Rift, and then I will return, and I think at that point I will join this Turning the Wheel initiative. I've got more than one account, however, so I can do some stuff in the bubble as well as being on the Rift tour. So yes, I'm quite interested in that, to see if we can expand the Dark Wheel and see if it triggers anything in Elite Dangerous. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But it will be fun finding out. So yeah. Steve is still hunting Raxler down. Stopped for a while as I was writing a book with Drew. But yeah, that's done. We've done that. Oh, that's a Viper. That's the police. But actually, presumably, because we've been behaving ourselves for a while, we are. Yes, we are. We're clean at the moment, so the police aren't bothering us, which is nice. We'll stay like that for a bit while we're doing some jumping around. So the Dark... Okay, Winning 1974 says the Dark Wheel now controls LFT 926, so they can push for expansion, though the BGS is whacked out at the moment. So I'm not surprised after the patch that the BGS is a bit flaky, because that's fairly normal, isn't it? It takes a couple of weeks to settle down. But yes, I think my main account is cordial with the Dark Wheel at the moment. I need to do a little bit more work on that one. It's always nice when the donation missions pop up, isn't it? But there we go. We haven't done that at the moment. Oh, stop spawning ships. This is the annoying part of this game. And we can't kill them because we're trying to stay clean. which is good, because if you want to dock at the space station, then it's a bit annoying. Early head look mode here with the original game. We can look left and we can look right. And we can look behind us, which is a feature that modern Elite doesn't really have, which I think is odd, because this to me was always, it wasn't really a cockpit in my head. Now, you may think this is different, but when I was playing this original game, I always imagined this was like a view screen rather like the one on the Enterprise, and you were sitting in a kind of a protected environment. I didn't feel like a canopy like they've done in Elite Dangerous. Now, I quite like the canopies in Elite Dangerous, but they do raise the question of what is that stuff made of? Because it's so incredibly strong. It's exactly as strong as the rest of the ship, pretty much, although your canopy can bust. But it can take a missile, or, bullets, or a laser at point, at direct range. And I can't dock. Why can't I dock? I've been good. Why are you not letting me dock? That's mean. Oh, sometimes I do hate this game. I'm clean, but it's not allowing me to dock, which means I've now got to drive out to the staff. Oh. I have got a docking computer on board, haven't I? Yeah, it's not working, which is annoying. So sometimes this game just throws you a curveball like that, which is just, anyway, I don't know why. Yeah, transparent aluminum. That's right. So yeah, exactly, Commander Ariel. Like the picture in the original manual shows you that. Oh, there's a plane going overhead, buzzing my house. I've always assumed that this was a view screen, which is why you've got the ability to toggle forward and back, because it kind of made sense for a ship that was designed to be a fighting vessel, that it wouldn't have exposed bits of glass on the outside of the ship. A fragile cockpit if you didn't need one. So. And that was sort of a rationale for the why the graphics weren't photorealistic back in the day, is that actually you were looking at a computer-generated rendering of the space outside your ship that made it easy for you to comprehend what was going on, rather than necessarily actually looking at what was actually out there, because of course you couldn't do that. So the ability for you to look forwards and backwards and you were still sitting facing forwards. You weren't turning your head. You just basically said, put the aft camera on the viewer, kind of Captain Kirk style. That's kind of how I sort of assumed it worked. But they didn't follow that in the Elite Dangerous design, and I completely get why. Actually, it's much more fun to have a cockpit, isn't it? It's slightly different to the way this game is sort of organised. Looks like an asteroid, so let's just blast that. Let's hope it's an asteroid. Yay! Right, back to the star. That's a Cobra, so we can safely ignore that. Although we can watch it go past. There's one thing I always remember doing on the Spectrum version is actually just enjoying watching the other ships go past. When I wasn't in a murdering mood, of course. There goes a Cobra. And the game gives you that sense of, well, I wonder where he's going. What's he doing? He's obviously. I mean, and it's just a ship that's spawned by RNG. You know that, but whoa, pirates! Look at that, being bracketed by loads of them. Nice. Okay, so 3 there. This is going to be a little bit of fun. Okay. It will only be sidewinders and crates, I'm sure, but this is a bit of a furball it's given me here. So I've got to get these ships as fast as possible. Ah, come on. The trick trick is to tuck in behind them. Right, I've got to be very careful here now because I don't have much energy. So and I've got another one on me. This is not going well. I've got to be careful because I'll hit. Hard game. Back to where we were. It's really annoying sometimes. It is quite difficult. Right. Well, we'll try that again. That's what I like about this game. Is it you can still get killed even though you've got a good ship. So let's do that hyperspace again. That was a bit. I could have used my energy. Oh damn! Yes, I've forgotten the wretched energy bomb. Did I have an energy bomb? Have I got one on board? Actually, that's a good question. Did I buy one? I have got an energy bomb on board. That was my mistake. I'd forgotten about the energy bomb. So yeah, we'll do that. I'll bear that in mind. All I could do with some slightly nicer systems. Poke infinite energy bombs. Well, I'm trying to play the game, Widdy. I'm trying not to cheat too much. Actually, I don't know. I haven't done the. I didn't save actually after I did the poke, did I? So I should really do that poke again. Let me do that while we materialise out of here. I'm just going to poke that. Pirate thing out of the way. Right, there we go. That's done. Okay, let's just save that so we know that's done. Right, otherwise it's going to be a bit of a pain. I'm going to have to remember it every time. Right, jump back and forth a few more times because that's what we kind of need to do. Test of a good pilot. What lasers do I have? Well, this is yeah. So yeah, I was supposed to run away based on that last name. I've got the right lasers. I've got the military lasers. Which is the best ones I can have in the game, basically. And I've got a mine laser on the back, but they do overheat quite fast. That's the problem with them. A NERSA. That's quite a good name for a system, actually. Oh, so the BGS mechanics are totally broken. Okay, so that's not good. Right, now let's see if we can get to the space station this time. Please be nice, computer. There's no reason why I can't go to the space station when I'm clean. Other than the computer's just being a bit annoyed. Right, I'm going to be a bit dodge here. Well, this is another one that you become aware of, is that the Spectrum version doesn't penalise you for ramming ships. I don't know if any of the others do, but it allows you to clear them out of the way without any penalties, which is very dodge behaviour, but for the sake of getting to the planet nice and fast, it kind of helps. I love pushing for kills through the rear view. Yes, that's quite good fun. This is another Python by the look of it. Shields are back up, so we're going to ram him out of existence as well. They do take evasive manoeuvres, but they're not fast enough to do it. There we go. Right, where's the space station? There's the S. And we can dock. Excellent. Will we get the pirates? No. Good. So far the poke is working. That's good. Right, have I got anything on board? That's the wrong key. No, that's the wrong key. Which key is it? That one? No. No, not that one. Don't press that button again, Drew. Or that one. Oh, there's two keys that do the same thing. That's not very helpful. That's the market. Where's the button that tells you to enter? There we go. Alloys, right. That's the one. Right, sell that. Buy fuel. Do jumps. Right, is there anything else that's worth buying here? Galactic Hyperspace? No, actually I'm a bit low on money, aren't I? I don't need the Galactic Hyperspace at the moment because we've done that mission with the supernova. So let's buy fuel. Done that. Let's save the game and carry on. Just doing some jumps. Just trying to up our jumps. That's what we need to do at the moment. So it sounds like the inertia system is a bit more friendly to us, which is good. So these two systems are nicely on top of each other. 0.8 light years away means we can do the jumps quite quickly. So Jess Phillips, yes, I have seen the movement to get the Dark Wheel Tournament. I'm quite interested in joining that. I do plan to join it in a bit, but I've got a 6-week expedition out to the Formidine Rift to do first. So when that's over, then yes. But I do have I also do have another account that stays in the bubble, so I might use that one as well to join it. We'll see how it goes. So again, just upping my jump count here, literally my jump count. So we think the mission, well, we're pretty sure, I think Commander Ariok has confirmed that the mission is triggered at a certain number of jumps. So I am exploiting a bit here to kind of move that forward a bit. I suppose I could cheat and poke here, but yeah. Anyway, we have a game to play, so I might as well just play it. Hopefully we can get to a Nerza and back again. It's about 64 jumps. Okay, there we go. Now I don't know if I get any clue that the ASP mission has triggered, or whether or not it's it's just one of those things that you eventually encounter along the way. So if anybody knows, Commander Ariok, of course, has played it. So is there any in-game notification that that's coming, or does it just happen that you are kind of suddenly an asp behaving strangely is going on? Commander access basically only when you meet it. Okay, so we've just got to be patient. So I'm just going to ram this poor cobra out of existence. So I'm going to build that jump count up a bit, maybe for the first sort of the first half, another half an hour. We'll just up the jump count, and then what we'll do is we'll go flying around. Just generally playing the game and keep jumping around, because otherwise it's going to get a little bit boring and gamey to watch, isn't it? So we'll chat a bit about that. But pirate. Dun, 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 dun. Does the ASP appear on its own, Commander Ariok, or is it kind of accompanied by other ships? That's another question. That looks like a Python. Won't be a Python for much longer. Yay. I suppose I should pick up the cargo since we're here. Every little helps. Okay, let's get that cargo. And there's the space station. Ooh. There we go. Docking computers on. See, that's a nice little dodge as well. You met it with 2 crates. Okay. I'll bear that in mind. Right, 4 fuel, 3 cell, whatever that was. Oop. 3, 1 ton of food. Boring. And save game. And launch again. So what do you think Raxxla actually is? Well, that's a very good question. In the original game, one we're playing today, Raxxla is described, well, not actually in the game, but in the novel that comes with the game, you know what I mean. Raxxla is described as a planet, a place that you can actually visit. But it is described as a gateway to somewhere else. So it seems to be a planet with some sort of mystical portal on it, of some kind, which maybe leads to somewhere else, maybe other galaxies, or a route to somewhere different. And there's, it's an alien construct, potentially. And given what we've seen in Elite Dangerous with things like the Guardians, you can kind of imagine that there's some weird and wacky technology out there potentially. But it seems to be a portal. It seems to be a gateway to somewhere else. Where that somewhere else is, nobody really knows. Of course, where Raxxla is, nobody really knows. But it is described consistently in the early lore of the game as a planet. but nobody's come back reliably to tell the tale of where it is. Maybe the gateway to the Thargoid homeworld. Well, Raxler and the Thargoids are never mixed up too much in the lore. They seem to be two sort of separate strands of the lore. So I don't know. I don't think there's much connection between the Thargoids and Raxler, but maybe there is. We don't really know. But generally, they're two separate strands of the lore. So I tend to think of them as separate things. In the lore. Just says, would you believe I've been to Raxler? Well, probably not. No, but do enlighten us. Right, we're back here again. And we need to now go back to the station and refuel. And there's a pirate. At least there are some pirates around, actually. That's quite useful. So maybe I'll just keep jumping about until we meet the visible ass. Quite looking forward to that. It's supposed to be quite a good fight, because of course you can't see the wretched thing half the time. Boom. My fleet carriers... well, that's quite cunning. Yep. Your fleet carrier is named Raxler, so therefore technically you have been to Raxler. Well, yes, I suppose... Oh, slaves. That's not actually necessarily so good for us, because they are a little bit illegal. There we go. They're letting me in. That's the main thing. Imagine if you could talk to the original author and ask about Raxler. Oh, that thing. I named it after a toast I had. Well, oddly enough, we can't. Yeah. There's multiple answers to that question, actually, Colzer. I never got to meet the original author of the Elite books, the Elite book, The Dark Wheel, because sadly he passed away in... When was it? It wasn't that long ago. 2010 or something like that. Somebody will be able to look it up on the internet for me. Robert Holstock was the original author, and he died very sadly, actually, unexpectedly, of an E. coli infection. Got food poisoning, I think, and it got really, really bad, and he died of it. So quite unexpectedly, you know, he wasn't super old, and you know, that very tragic death, really, and that was before Elite Dangerous was a thing. He died, I think, he did celebrate the 25th anniversary of Elite, so that would be, what's 84 plus 25? That's 2004, 2009-ish. You know, there was a 25th anniversary celebration of Elite that was held in a hotel. Now, I was unfortunately ill with flu. Otherwise, I would have gone. So, you know, to my eternal annoyance. Oh, there we go. 2009 he passed away. There we go. So it was literally just after the 25th anniversary of Elite. Now, I didn't get to go to that event because I was ill myself. He was there along with Ian Bell and David Braben, the people who wrote the game. And he gave a reading. Can you imagine how good that would have been from a Geek Fest perspective? He gave a reading at that event. I don't know if it's on YouTube somewhere. Maybe it is. Of the Dark Wheel. He who wrote the book gave a reading of the book at the event, which would have been awesome, and I would love to have met him. But sadly, I didn't get to meet him before he died. So he was basically the guy who invented Raxler, okay, and he invented the Dark Wheel and all that sort of mythology. Now, the word Raxler does appear in some of his other works. Okay, so he was a relatively famous author, actually, and he wrote other books. The Dark Wheel wasn't the only thing he wrote. His other books are very, very good, actually. So if you do dig them out, there's some very, very good stuff there. But the word Raxler does appear in in some of his other works. He definitely reused the name. Whether he reused the concept, I don't know. So there you go. That was a long answer to a short question. There are some hilarious Kara names in the game. I did see Red Dwarf, which I thought was quite a good one. That one made me chuckle. We actually encountered one in the Lore Tour on Thursday, which was Salome's Ghost, which was oddly appropriate because it was the Salome event that we were talking about in the Lore Tour, the final Lore Tour actually on Thursday. And so we used it as a kind of end piece to the lore tour as it disappeared into hyperspace, which was cool. Enjoyed that. I will never be able to afford a fleet carrier myself at 5 billion credits. It's several decades out of my playtime. I mean, I've been playing Elite Dangerous since 2014 in the alpha, and in that amount of time, I have amassed about 4 ships and 500 million credits. So, at that rate of play, it's going to take me another 9 times that length of time to afford a fleet carrier. So that's definitely past the age that I will definitely snuff it. So unless I drastically alter my play style in the game, I will never have a fleet carrier. I can't really see the point when so many other people have got one, because they're going to be all over the shop, aren't they? And in some places they are literally, you know, they're covering the map completely. So there you go. That's quite funny. And I haven't really got the time to go mining or whatever it is that is the latest way of generating lots of cash, and I'm not really interested in doing that. I like the ships that I've got, and I like tootling around, doing a bit of exploration and joining in community events. That's really why I play the game. So that's kind of what I do. Okay, so Just Flips, the book is Alien Worlds, which was done 4 years before Elite was made. So there you go. Steve Shaw's got the detail on it. That's the way to do that. So we are upping our jump count here. And I do want that cloaking device. That's going to be fun to play with. So right, we're out of hyperspace juice again. Off to the planet we go. There's a ship in the way. Probably a police ship looking at the speed that's coming through. Or was that a bounty hunter? I think that is a... yeah, it is. That's a Third Lance, which is a fast ship in this version of the game, and bounty hunters like to fly them. So I didn't know it was 1980. Yeah, so it's old stuff. Rexler, the original Rexler stuff. Yeah, so the whole. I mean, there's been a lot of talk on the YouTube and the forums about the upkeep of the carriers, isn't it? It's a controversial game mechanic, shall we say? I think that's probably the fairest way to describe it. Doesn't suit players like me who 4 pirates, who only play the game casually, because I can't afford for stuff that I've bought in game to sort of atrophy when I'm not in the game. That's just not a game mechanic I can work with as a casual player, really. So one of the reasons I've never really done power play, because I'd have to maintain it, and I don't like a game that forces me back to do things. I don't mind playing it. It's good fun. I don't mind amassing some credits. I don't mind doing some grindy things like the unlocks of this and the unlocks of that, if they're fun to do. But if I have to maintain a state, that's not very appealing to me, I must admit. And I understand why people are a bit kind of about that, particularly if it's a lot of numbers. Why isn't this guy firing at me? It's a bit strange. Oh, it's because we're in system space. So I should be, if I'm lucky. The pirates are caught out here. There we go. The pirates are caught out by that, because if you're not allowed to fire at anybody with the S on the screen, so they're sort of stuck. They've ambushed me, but they're too close to the planet, which is a fun little thing. There we go. Right. So more fuel. Save the game. Keep jumping. We want some asp. Give us an invisible asp, please. Right, so off we go. Hyperspacing again. So there we go. Tritium. So fleet carrier is not really my thing. No, it's not. I mean, I don't object to them. Their new content. I quite enjoyed landing on one the other day. I thought that was quite good fun. And players have got bases around the galaxy, and they're in useful places for me. Then that's actually an enhancement to my gameplay. So that's okay. I suppose I'm a bit. I mean, the novelty will wear off in a little while, won't they? And they'll space out. I mean, it looks a little bit odd at the moment, where every system you go to in the bubble has got thousands of damn things everywhere. It just shows how many players have got a lot of money as well, which is a bit funny. And while some of the names are amusing, some of them are kind of like, they're very, to my way of thinking, a bit immersion breaking. Is like, there's no way anybody, would probably, well, maybe they would, but I don't think those sort of names would be in real massive spaceships in a sensible galaxy. So they're a little bit kind of like, they do detract a little bit from the experience of the game in some of the namings, but I can't blame people for having fun. Have I been through a jump in Cyber? No, I haven't been on board one when it's jumped at the moment. That's something I've got to do. So no is the answer to that question. I have watched one go from the outside. That was quite cool with the cloud and the smoke and lightning and stuff. Although I can sort of understand lightning. Why is it smoke? I'm not quite sure what that is. I feel that it should have a more portally sort of effect really for hyperspace travel, but it's still cool. It sounds good, particularly the sound has always been good in Elite, and there's no exceptions to that really. Apart from other, funny story I had is on the Cobra. I think it was the Cobra. It was. It was the Cobra Mark III. Really, really early on in the first couple of years of Elite, there was a squeak in the Cobra Mark III. When you hit the boost, there was a squeak, which you kind of, everybody said, it was coming from the flight chair. As you're forced back and you'll see it goes. I don't know about you guys, but when I'm driving my car, I hate rattles and squeaks. Okay, so I go to insane lengths of making sure that everything is tightened on my dashboard, even on my really old cars. And some of you know I collect classic cars. I hate squeaks. Okay, so the dashboards have got little bits of padding inside them to make sure that they don't rattle and squeak. I hate squeaks. Okay, and I hate squeaks and rattles in my cars. My cars have to be really, really solid. So I spend a lot of time getting rid of rattles and squeaks in my car. So to have my virtual spaceship have a squeak from the seat was driving me absolutely pottle. Every time I hit the boost, it was like I could hear it. And once you've heard something, you can't unhear it. So I complained when I went up to Frontier, and I've been there 3 or 4 times, I think. In the history of the game, I think it was either the second or I think it might have even been the first time I went to. I said, "Do you know?" I just asked the random question. Do you know who does the sound engineering on the Cobra ship? And they said, "Oh yes, you should meet so and so." And I said, "Oh, fantastic!" So anyway, I did the homage thing, to start with, saying this poor sound engineer guy. So, "Oh yeah, it's brilliant, it's brilliant. I've got one problem though." And he went. His sort of face was like, "Yes, who's this guy?" And I said, "There's a squeak." When the Cobra Mark III boosts, there's a squeak. Is there any chance you could get rid of the squeak? And he looked at me as if I was completely insane, as you probably would expect. And but lo and behold, I got a very quick email a few weeks later saying, from this. I can't remember his name now, poor fella. He may not even work there anymore. But basically saying fixed. And lo and behold, when the next time I updated the game, the squeak from the Cobra Mark III cockpit is gone. It's been fixed. So I was really, really, really happy. So you can thank me for that. You can thank me. I have made a difference to the game. Genuinely, I don't forget the lore and forget all that other stuff and the books and everything. I fixed the squeak in the seat of the Cobra Mark III. Well, actually, no, I complained about it and somebody else fixed it, but I made it happen. Good stuff. So yeah, there we go. Maybe it was a mouse. Maybe it was a tribble. No, a trumbull. Trumbull, wasn't it? Trumbull caught in the seat tilt mechanism or something. I don't know. Did I save that? Let me just check that I saved it. There we go. Launch again. Probably used a little bit of WD-40. Yeah. So, but anyway, that was quite funny. But they've done it. Generally they've done a really, really good job with the sound of of the game in Elite Dangerous. It does sound amazing. If you listen to it with decent headphones, actually, really, really impressive. Very, very good sound. Where are you in game? I think I'm in the Ridquite system, ready to go on the tour. But yes, I will take advantage of a jump somewhere at some point. That would be good. That would be good fun. Yeah. Oh, there we are. Miss Misophonia, the hatred of particular sounds. Yeah. So squeaks and rattles. No, I am, as you've probably worked out after watching me on my stream for a long, long time, a little bit OCD. And lots of other words back in the 80s hadn't been invented really. At least we didn't know about them. So I'm probably borderline autistic as well. At least in some things anyway. I've definitely got a tendency to. If you ask my wife, when I'm doing something, I'm very, very focused. She could let off a bomb next door to me and I wouldn't notice. So I definitely have some of those tendencies. And squeaks and rattles. If you want to really annoy me, put a rattly thing in my car and it will drive me absolutely bonkers. To the point of I will not drive the car until it's fixed. It's that bad. So there we go. What can we do? One thing I will go. I mean, I know this is an emulated game, and thing, but one of the things that's very good about these 8-bit computers is they were very stable. You didn't generally experience crashes. You could play Elite for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, and the game was rock solid. So even though there were, as we've determined, a few bugs in it, the game was. I have no recollections of Elite ever crashing on me whilst playing. So considering the hardware was very primitive, no error correction, any of that kind of good stuff that you have nowadays on computers, it's actually quite impressive how stable it is. And they had to kind of get it right first time round. There wasn't an internet where you could download a patch. You'd have to buy a new cassette. So that didn't really make a lot of sense. Another pirate. Let's dispatch him. Might as well take some pirates out on the way in. Get that jump count up. Bum, 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 bum. This one is... That's an asp. It's not disappearing. There we go. So that wasn't the one. Oh yeah, two risks back in the day. Thunderstorms or parents switching it off. Yeah, that definitely happened to me. Certainly the parents switching it off thing definitely happened. Probably because I had some homework to do or something. But thunderstorms, I mean that's definitely a threat. But I don't remember my Spectrum ever suffering due to electricals. I don't think playing computer. My dad would probably have switched everything off. He was a little bit. I mean, he was an electronics engineer, and he was not paranoid, but he was certainly aware that you could get lightning come down an aerial and fry everything. So he tended to make sure everything electrical in the house was switched off if there were thunderstorms. So I probably wouldn't have been playing on my computer during a thunderstorm, I suspect. So, Dietopian, glad to see the upgraded engine has allowed much improved graphics to Elite Dangerous. Well, so we've only got the trailer to talk about at the moment, haven't we? The Odyssey trailer, which is, and that seems to show. The ships don't look any different to me, but the landscape definitely has more to it than the current airless worlds of Elite Dangerous in Horizon. So that does suggest that we've had some upgrades to the technology. And they've talked about amazing vistas and various other bits and pieces. But they've been pretty cautious in the trailer, haven't they? They've given us a barren, airless, deserty world with a very thin atmosphere, it looks like. Although you still wouldn't be able to see stars in the sky the way they've shown it. But, for art, okay? So so that is interesting. It looks like that engine is going to be capable of quite a lot more than we've seen so far. I would hope. I'd very much be surprised if it's just a skybox around an airless world. That would be very disappointing. What we haven't seen much, I mean, it's got a lot more detail at ground level, which of course you're going to need if you're going to have space legs, I suppose. There's a little bit of a suggestion of overhangs and caves, but nothing too clear on that, which I think is going to be another thing that they kind of hopefully will have to have in order to make the ground a bit more interesting, because otherwise it's just a bump map, isn't it? Which is quite dull. And No Man's Sky has shown that you can do things like that. And exploring caves and parking your ship in under a cliff that's slightly like in a cavern in the canyon type thing is going to be fun. If it can do that. So it's not entirely clear whether that's going to be an option or not, but fingers crossed it will be. And they released the Odyssey prematurely. Well, did they or didn't they? I suspect it was. I mean, the content was clearly signed off, ready to go. There was nothing rough and ready about the trailer, so it was definitely ready. Did it go live slightly too early? They certainly put the forum threads out fairly quickly, but did it look rushed? I don't know. Difficult to say, isn't it? Difficult to say. Slightly odd timing, I think, given that Fleet Carriers was imminent. I would, had I been their communications person, I would have kept them separate by quite a way. Let people enjoy the Fleet Carrier hype and then do Odyssey. So that sort of maybe suggests that they did accidentally release it early and then had to quickly send out all the forum-y stuff as well. Frontier have done that before quite a few times. So I'm not sure whether or not whether it was genuinely released early or whether it was kind of accidentally on purpose released early. Difficult to tell. So there's speculation the Odyssey viewer was due to be today at the virtual. Okay, so the 3rd / the 13th. That's a possible error, I suppose, isn't it? But normally those things are checked and double checked and rechecked. But who knows? The version named after the version of the Cobra ship that had massive issues. It's Cobra V2. So is that? Well, that's the engine they use, isn't it? Cobra engine, which is presumably named after the ship. So they've got their own, rather than using Unreal and Unity and things like that, they have their own in-house engine for building games, which must be quite an expensive thing to maintain, I would have thought. Quite a big cost, but presumably they think it's worth it for the type of games that they create. I don't know any detail about that, I'm afraid. That's probably a very technical question. Adamski says it was no accident. Yeah, I kind of suspect it wasn't. Sort of maybe accidentally on purpose, but who knows? Short of breaking into Frontier and checking people's emails, which I don't recommend, by the way. It's difficult to say, isn't it? Difficult to say. So onwards we go. Keep hyperspacing. So has anyone mentioned? Oh well, yeah. So the lack of VR. Well, we should give that. That's an interesting one. I don't know what this is going to be. So VR. Now I've spoken before on this. I like the VR. I must admit, the first time I think I played on an Oculus Rift CV1 or 2 years ago now. I remember being utterly staggered. As I flew out of the space station, really, really, really felt like I was in space. So I completely get the VR thing. My son has got I was talking about DK1, DK2. My son has got CV1, which he likes. My problem with VR is simply that it makes me nauseous quite quickly. It's not just Elite actually. It's any game where I've got I think lateral movement is what does it for me, left and right or forward and back. I'm not sure which one it is. When I sense that I'm accelerating or decelerating, and there's no physical sensation to go with it, that just within a few minutes I'm feeling ill. I've tried anti-sickness tablets and air sickness tablets, those sort of things to try and counter it. Because I have no problem going in a car, on a train or a bus or an airplane, because the physical sensations match. VR is something that I absolutely appreciate, but I can't enjoy for very long. It looks amazing. And I wish I could stay there longer, but I just can't. I'm one of those people whose body does not allow it. And so whilst I really like the idea, the nausea of it makes it a bit of a closed book for me. But for people who can cope with it, I completely get why you want it, because it looks utterly different. I mean, when you put even in the dock, the launch screen where you just get your ship in a hangar, on a flat screen monitor, it looks pretty impressive. There's your ship, and there it is in the hangar, but it doesn't look big. Whereas when you have the same view in VR, you're suddenly aware of the staggering proportion of the ship, and it's enormous. That's another asp, but it's not fizzling it out. These are quite tough cookies, aren't they? It looks staggeringly different. It gives you a totally different sense of perspective and scale. And I can see for many people, when you're in VR, you wouldn't want to go back if you can tolerate it. I can see exactly why you wouldn't want to go back to just the monitors, because it's not going to be the same. You're inside the ship. You're really there in the elite universe. Sense of presence is much more significant. Completely get that. So this business about VR not being supported in Odyssey is a bit of a surprise. I was like, really? Well, why not? You've been one of the premier VR experiences for quite a long time. So it's a bit of an odd choice, but then there must be a reason, whether it's development time or whether it's complexity or whether it's it would push the base level of the game to a degree that not enough of the PCs that we have around could cope with it. Because I don't know what the specs for Odyssey are going to be, or the VR specs for Odyssey would have been. So all of those things are interesting, but it does raise a question. Okay, well, is it going to come later? Because not available at launch is usually code for never, isn't it? Which is the thing that I think some people are worried about. We've seen things like Mac support get abandoned over the time, and other stuff like that has happened and has had to be dealt with. And they've also got this slightly odd thing now that you've got the base game, which is Elite Dangerous, which is one bit of the launcher. You've got Elite Dangerous Horizons, assuming you've bought the DLC, the add-on. Are we going to see Elite Dangerous Odyssey as another DLC line there? So you can run the game in 3 different modes depending on A, what you've bought, and B, the option that you choose. And then and I don't know if this is true, but I'm sort of assuming that if you start in Odyssey, you can't go into VR mode, even in the bits of the game where VR would have been supported, if you know what I mean. So if you want to do VR, you have to start on the original Elite, or you have to start on Horizons. But if you then want to go into a place where the Odyssey content is, i.e. Space Legs, you're going to have to drop out of the game, relaunch it to go into Odyssey mode, which all sounds horribly clunky. So I don't know how they're going to deal with that, but that looks to me like a potential problem. It's because FPS walking around in VR is very different from sitting in a cockpit. Okay, well that I can sort of understand. And it's the massive technological work required to make VR players fight FPS players. Well, that's I don't even know how that would work. And that's I must admit, that's a bit of the game that doesn't really interest me at all, FPS gameplay, because If I wanted to do that, I'd go and play Halo or something. And you know, I don't, because I don't like those sort of games. That's not me. I do Elite to fly spaceships and go exploring in space and fight bandits and stuff. I can sort of see the appeal of walking around ships for a bit, and maybe stations for a bit, but you know, there's only going to be so many interiors, and there's only going to be so many. The inside of a spaceship is going to be interesting for a few times, but then it's going to be like, well, that's the same as the inside of my house. So I know where everything is. And so I'm not sure I kind of get that appeal. We don't even know if we're going to be able to see the interior of ships. They've been a bit cagey on that, haven't they? We've only seen gameplay on the surface of a planet, so we don't know if ship interiors are part of it or not. That's another unanswered question right now. Fixing up ships with EVA, that does appeal to me. I think that would be quite cool. But then they're going to have to solve the 0G. How do you move around in 0G problem? Which maybe they thought about that one. But I don't know. I don't know on that one. So there's lots of, basically we're waiting more trailers, and there's going to be dev diaries and stuff like that to look forward to, which will hopefully explain a little bit more about it. But yeah, so lots of unanswered questions about the different modes of the game, and I'm sure that's getting awfully complicated to manage as well. So you'll have 3 versions of the game, won't you? You'll have Elite Dangerous Horizons, and Elite Dangerous Odyssey, which all seem to be, obviously I presume they share a code base, but they seem to be slightly different versions of the same thing with added stuff that's tacked on. Because if you're in Elite Dangerous Horizons at the moment, you go out in the SRV and you get stuck, for example, one of the workarounds is to quit the game, log into the original Elite Dangerous from your launcher, and that puts you back in space. Because the original Elite doesn't allow you to land on planets. And from there you can then go back into Horizons and repeat the thing and try again. So, is Odyssey going to do stuff like that? So if you're in Odyssey mode and you get stuck in your space leg somewhere, then you can unload the game, use Horizons to get back to the planet. I don't know. All that stuff's going to be interesting to see how it goes. 5 if you've got VR and screen, but yeah, so go to that must be a complicated thing to manage. And I would have, I don't know. You tell me. I would have thought it would make more sense to save the game. Combine the versions of Elite at some point. So after all this time, Horizons should be the base game. And maybe everybody who's got the original version of Elite automatically gets Horizons after, I don't know, let's say 5 years or something. Just so they can simplify the code base. You'd have thought that would pay them some dividends. I don't know how difficult that problem is. And they've already shown jetpacks. So yeah, so I suppose jetpacks are a way to get around in space as well. That sort of makes sense, I suppose. The only thing I want from it is the ability to sit in the luxury class lounge on the upper deck of my Explosion Beluga and watch alien sunsets with a margarita. That sounds good. Actually, I've quipped once that my end game content in Elite is to park my Cobra. Oh look, lots of pirates. I wonder if that one of those is an invisible ass. I can't abort the hyperspace now. Is to park my Cobra Mark III, and it has to be a Cobra Mark III because it's the original ship. To park my Cobra Mark III on a nice, lush, sort of tropical world with some palm trees, or whatever the alien equivalent of palm trees is, on a beach, okay, with the waves lapping at the shore. And if I can park my ship there, jump into my space legs, walk down the ramp, and admire the view, then I think that's my end game content. That will do me. If I can do that, I'll think, yep. So here I am. I can fly a spaceship to. There are lots of targets here. I'm just going to. I might need the energy bomb, just in case we're at the point where the mission triggers. I'm just going to investigate these ones because that's quite an unusual configuration of pirates. So let's see if there's an invisible asp at any stage here. That's actually. Well, that was a sidewinder. So no. I suppose Commander Ariot can tell me, does the asp disappear from your scanner as well as disappearing visually? I suppose it probably does. It ought to. Whoa, now I'm getting shot to pieces. Fuel leak. That's not good. I think they've got me. And I just about... Oh, it wasn't too far back to the last save. They're pretty vicious, actually, these pirates at the moment. Let me make sure I do get the last save. They're not messing about. I'll give them that. There we go. Last save was at 8 minutes past. That's only 2 minutes ago. So I won't do that next time. I'll just keep jumping. Yeah, 4 ships on that is. It does stay on the scanner. Okay. Okay, so I'll give that Vast and regular sales of for 8 quid. Yeah, so I mean, maybe they don't want to give any money away. That's probably fair enough, isn't it? But at some point, you thought it might pay them to, consolidate those code bases. Maybe. If Odyssey comes online in the same timescale as Fleet Carriers, won't be here for years yet. Well, we'll have to see, won't we? Delays definitely happen. It's currently what, Q1 next year? Is that right? Which kind of means March 31st. If I'm cruel. So that's definitely a delay. That's not that long. It's 9 months away, isn't it? Good luck with the asp. Yeah, so we're waiting for this asp to appear. I don't know how many jumps we're away from it. I mean, we're literally just jumping backwards and forwards, which isn't the most exciting thing. Look, there's ships appeared again. I have to pay more attention to that. So I don't want to energy bomb them because I need to pick up the cargo. So let's just do a few more jumps. We'll save and we'll go on some stuff. I did say we were going to travel around a bit. We should do a bit more travelling, actually. I think we'll do that in a minute because I'm getting a bit bored of just jumping between these two systems. It's not the most exciting gameplay for you guys to watch either. So it does appear with 3 other ships. Okay, right, that's interesting. Okay, so it stays on scanner, but it disappears off visually. Okay, well that's a clue, so I'll bear that in mind. I think Commander Ariok said he got jumped with 2 crates though, so maybe it appears with 3 or 4, which does of course sometimes happen on the Spectrum version anyway, just generally. So it's going to be hard to know if we've triggered it or not. So there we go. There's 4 ships. So let's see if we can deal with this. There's 2 there, but there's only 1 visible. This might be it. Yes. Right. This is it. This is it. I'm saving the game. There's an invisible asp there. It's just flickering and disappearing. I've got to deal with the other ships first. Fuel leak. Let's see if I can get... I don't know what I'm going to be able to do about the other ship. Let's see if I can deal with these. This is the mission. We've got it. Well, can I survive? At least I saved it. But have I... Oh, there it is. Did you see it? Woo! There's a disappearing asp. That is very weird. I'm not in a good place here. And I don't want to trigger the energy bomb. I could have triggered a missile, I suppose. No, not good enough. Alright, try again. Okay, so right, that was my first attempt at the mission. I have failed. Let's try it again. Okay, right, I'm going to target a missile this time. Oh, energy bomb, that's just mean. Right, I've got to... So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try this time. I'm going to fly away from the asp a little bit and fly away from the other 2 ships, which are behind me at the moment. And the asp is doing me a number on my shields. No, that doesn't work either. Oh, the problem is I've got too many ships on me. That strategy did not work. Okay. Okay. All right, quick load again. Let's get that one in front of me. Is they really whack. Oh, it does do it. Right, I've got to... I don't think I have a shot. I've got to get some shields up. This is the problem here. And I can't outrun the asp. I've got to have more power in my shields before I take those other 2 ships on. This is looking a little bit better this time. Okay, so the asp is behind me. The other 2 ships are there. 2 energy banks up. Come on, give me some more shields. I'm doing a brave Sir Robin this time. So this is a mission. Yes, this is a mission, Frank. We've got a ship on the scanner Right, front shield's coming back up. I think I can do this now. So let's deal with the other two ships first. We'll ignore the asp for the moment. Let's deal with the two ships that are here. Okay, that one's closer. Let's get that one first. Right, so that's a crate. Come back here, you. Right, come on. Gotcha. Right, this one over here is probably a crate as well. Yes, it is. Right, both of those are dead. There's another one, I think. Is that the asp giving me a hard time from behind? I think it is. Ah, come on, stop being mean. Oh, still got me. Invisibility cloak. Yep. This is tough. Right, try again. I've got to get this. I've got to get this crate here first, and get the shields up. Come on. This has to happen. Okay, so we'll pick up the cargo. Just run away at maximum speed here, hoping that the asp doesn't turn on me initially. So the asp is behind me there. You can see it on the scanner. Now it's firing at me. This is just unlucky as I can't evade it. I need the shields up to take the other. It's not going to let me off. It's going to kill me again. Oh, this is really hard. Quick load again. Alright, try again. I may not be able to win it from this situation because I'm already in a disadvantageous situation at the start of the game. Because that asp is vicious, isn't it? It really is vicious. I've got to give myself some leeway to get the shields up, and that really is. Okay, there it is. There's. Okay, those guys are firing. There's the asp again. I'm trying to keep it away from me, but it's not letting me go. You can't see it. There you go. It's just shooting me to pieces. There's nothing I can do at this angle without it giving me a break, because I can't. I suppose I could turn. Let's see what happens if I try and take it out. I've got to take this crate out first. That is desperately important. Oh, look, it's just killing me. Right, where is it? It's up there somewhere. If I can maybe stay close to it. Where is it? Come on, come on. I've got to deal with something. I've got to get shields up before. There it is. Oh, it's impossible to hit. Can I load the previous save? Yes, I can. Because that might give me a better advantage point. So I'll try that as well. Fortunately, I have got the previous save. So the one that we're currently talking about. So I'm going to rename this one just so we've got it. That one is. I'm going to rename that to Cloaked Asp. And if I can't get it to trigger again, then we'll come back. But let's go back to the previous save. Okay, so this one we were a few jumps away from it, and let's try that. See if I can get into a slightly more advantageous position. We even dodged. Yeah, I wish I had some. Yeah, the problem is I'm surrounded. I'm surrounded in that save. That's the problem. I didn't save it early enough to get an advantageous position. At least we know we're at the point where the mission triggers. Okay, that's good. If I can't get it to trigger again from this save, let's just keep jumping, because the pirates did appear fairly soon after this. Silent running, yeah, if only we had that. That would be really, really good. Let's just keep an eye on the scanner in case anything triggers. There we go. Ah, I've hyperspaced. That might have been it there. Let's go back again. Is it going to trigger? Nothing's happening. Hyperspace then. Yeah, so it took me half a dozen tries. Yeah, so I was in a disadvantageous position there, unfortunately, by the time I saved. So at least I've got it, and of course it's not giving it to me now. So there's no obvious start to the mission, Frank. It's basically you just get jumped by a set of pirates, and one of them they're all showing up on the scanner, but one you can't see. Here we go. This might be it. Right, let's save it again here and see if we get. I'm going to engage the other ships first this time, and this is it. No, this is it again. That one's invisible. I can't see it. So okay, we've got a better save this time. And those guys have got me from the side. This one's got me from the front. Again, this is pretty vicious actually. Hitting my shields very hard. Come on. Nope. It is mean. I'll give it that. Alright, let's try that again. Right, I want this one. Is this the one? No, this one's visible, so I'm going to get this one first. The two that are out there are not the cloaked asp. They are invisible. So if I can get this guy, it's concentration of fire. This is very important in this game. That was a sidewinder. Okay, so I've now got two that I need to deal with. Let's get my shields fully up. There we go. They're already in range. I'm going to have to sort of see if I can deal with both of these. Now the asp has got me as well. It's a proper furball. One down. It's really, really tricky. This is the best save I've had, so let's just get that as well. I should be able to do it. We need a bit of luck. Okay, we behind you. Thank you very much for that. With a bit of luck, I should be able to get this one. I'm going to call that Cloaked Asp 2. There we go. Right, so let's get this guy first. Full speed, yeah. There's no point using missiles at this range. Let's get him into range and deal with him. Boom. Right, I'm going to get those guys behind me and keep out of range for the moment as best I can. Ah, damn, they're in range. Okay, hang on a minute. Right. Can I keep them at arm's length? There's another pirate just appeared over there, which is not. This is the RNG of the game being mean, and they're not quite getting me. Well, that might be the ass. This is another pirate just joined them. I don't know what ship this is. This is another asp. This game does not like me. No, this has not gone well. Try again. Try again. Cloaked Asp 2, right. Let's get we will prevail. I must prevail on the stream. I'm gonna have to really concentrate on this. Sorry guys. So let me try again, and I'll have a look at the chat, and then I'll see if there's any really good tips in there. I'm having to concentrate quite hard to do this because this seems to be particularly difficult. The baddies here seem to be quite OP compared to normal. Come on, get my shields up. That's the asp shooting me. Right, shields are up. Here we go. I want everything but the asp dead. Really. Which is the closest one? That one's the closest one. Oh, see, it's really, really like a furball. That's the sidewinder. It's not. Oh. Why not drop the energy bomb? The problem is the energy bomb destroys all of the ships, and I need to kill the asp to pick up the cloaking device because it will drop a cargo canister. If I use the energy bomb, it wipes everything out, and I lose the opportunity to pick up the cloaking device. I've got to fight them off. I've got to fight them off. If you can get the asp first and pick up the cargo, you can use your energy bomb. Yes, that's true. It's whether I can hit the asp. It's mostly invisible. You might just have to ratchet your save. So, shall I try the asp first? Let's try the asp. Let's see if I can take on the asp. Which one is it? It's got to be the one on its own. So let's try and take on the asp. It's invisible. I know it's ahead of me. I can't see it, and it occasionally is flickering. There it is. But trying to fight a ship that is... I'm not even hitting it. This is like that. Oh, I hit it a couple of times. Hit it enough so it launches missiles. There's an email. Oh, so close. So close. Where is it? There it is. Alright, come on. Ah, they shot that! I shot the damn cargo. Which I know has happened to other people. So that was a strategy that really worked. Well done. Okay, well done, Kelly Bagler and Co. for that. Okay, so let's try that again. Because that did work, or got close to working. Right, here we go again. Let's try taking on the asp directly and see if we can deal with it before. So it doesn't seem that the asp is any stronger than normal, actually, judging by the number of times I hit it. It's just the fact you can't... You just can't see it. I'm just going to get ripped to pieces again. Maybe I think it's really hard. You have to get it on the approach. If you don't get it on the approach, you've got no chance. So actually, the moment it comes into visual range, which is somewhere about there, not quite. Hit it once. No. This is hard. This is hard. This is very hard indeed. Let's get this asp. You can see why on the original Spectrum, without the ability to save your game, this would have been ludicrously difficult. I've got the advantage that I can just restore instantly from a known good point. Launch the missile, that's a good sign. Yes! Yes, 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 yes! Come on! I've got it! And ECM and energy bomb. Boom! Did I get it? Did I get it? Did I get it? Ooh! Cloaking Device! Yes! Yes, 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 yes! Yes! Oh, there we go. That was it. There we go. Now dock. Right, let's get the shit back. Well, I should save the game, actually. Let's save the game. Let's do a save, quick save as, actually. Just quick save. There we go. Right. We got it. We got the cloaking device. Finally. That was quite cool. So, presumably on my equipment list then, the cloaking device is on the screen. We have the cloaking device. Played for and got. Yes. So let me just get back to the station. And then we'll have a play around with what the cloaking device can actually do, because you want to see that, don't you? Yeah, so that was good. That was hard though. I might play that round. I mean, I genuinely got that by killing the asp, picking up the cargo canister, and then energy bombing all these escorts, which was a cool strategy. Thank you very much for for that, Kelly Banglar and Co. That was an awesome suggestion. It worked really well. I thought you might be better off tactically dealing with the escort rather than the actual asp in the first place. But no, that was a genuinely good suggestion to take on the asp first, which is what we did there. So I'm glad we captured that. And I'm dangerous. My elite rating is dangerous. I'm dangerous. Fear me, for I am dangerous. I'm just gonna bask there for a moment. So I not only do I have the cloaking device, but I am now elite dangerous. There we go. Dangerous Drew. Pleasure to meet you. Right, so let's get the fuel. Let's buy the energy bomb, because that's a useful thing to have on our ship at all times, as we've determined. So we have the cloaking device. So what does the cloaking device do? Okay, right, so quick save. Let me show you what the cloaking device does. This is good. Right, so let's go somewhere. It doesn't have to be very far away. So we trigger the third mission. Yes. I'm very excited about it. Let's go there. Now the cloaking device is an undefined key. It's not on the inlay for the Spectrum version, because that would give the game away, wouldn't it? But you've now got the cloaking device. So how you found out what key activated the cloaking device? Because there's nothing in the mission there that told you. We have a cloaking device, but it doesn't tell you how to activate it. But I do know how to activate it. Basically what you do is you press the Y button for reasons. And if I press the Y button, watch what happens. There we go. Was it a toggle? Or no, there we go. Alright, the screen goes blue. Okay, we can't be seen. Okay, but notice my energy bank is draining away really, really fast. Okay, so operating the cloak is bad for your energy. But what it means is that you can sneak up on things. So there we go. So we switch on the cloaking device by pressing Y. The screen goes blue, and our energy bank starts draining at the same speed as it would normally recharge. So the cloaking device is a massive drain on the ship's power. It doesn't last for very long. But if we encounter a pirate, and of course the game won't give us one now, but let me show you what happens. It's very cool. Oh, okay, so now we've just attacked an anaconda. Okay, so we can put the cloaking device on here. There goes the ships that are launching. I can put the cloaking device on and they'll just lose track of me. They don't know where I am because they can't see me anymore. So it's a good get out of trouble dodge, and they will just now completely ignore me because they can't see me anymore. And that includes the two crates. So I can run out of range. The only problem I have to be a bit careful is how much power I'm using. Okay. But what a cool enhancement to the original gameplay. So there's no cloaking device on the BBC version. Here comes some pirates as well, actually. So this is there we go. So now they'll detect me again, but it's too late because I'm out of range. And the pirates will be coming in as well, but they won't be able to detect me either once I switch the cloaking device back on in a moment. So they're now currently targeting me, trying to close the range on me, and they'll start firing in a moment. And then I put yeah, there we go, and then I'll just switch the cloaking device back on again, and they can't see me. Which is quite cool. I mean, it's a bit it's not entirely OP because obviously it's draining the energy banks quite dramatically. But basically, the effect it has on all the other ships in the game is that they just continue on whatever course they were going on before, which gives you the opportunity to pick them off at your leisure, of course, because you can manoeuvre in behind them. That one's just picked up on me again, so I'm just going to let that. So I can switch it on. I can manoeuvre so that he's in a disadvantageous position. Have to be a little bit careful. Oh, and it switches itself off when your energy's low. Okay, well that's interesting. I didn't know that. So that's, I suppose, sensible. So it can't actually kill you. Now I'm in trouble, of course. So I should really go somewhere else. So yeah, you have to use it carefully. But it does give you a tactical advantage in dealing with other ships. So let's just hang around here while the energy banks recharge. It doesn't make you invulnerable. It's another thing to manage, okay, because it's a big drain on your energy banks. So it can put you in a difficult situation. You can't use it with impunity all the time, which I think is quite good programming. Now, this Cobra here, for example, if I approach it normally, what I'll do is I'll show you how these things react. If you've seen it from the front, if I approach it, it will take evasive maneuvers and change course. Okay. However, I'm going to pull in behind it this time. If I approach it from behind, because they never fly at full throttle for some reason, the NPC ships. You'll notice as I get to a certain range, it will start weaving around, trying to warn me off from going too close to it. So this is interesting. This is obviously with the cloaking device. So it's probably thinking, what the heck is this guy doing? Why is he flying up behind me? And you'll notice that there he goes. He's sort of dodging around, trying to get me off his tail. He doesn't like that. But if I switch the cloaking device on, as far as he's concerned, I've disappeared. And so his primitive little NPC brain now flies dead straight. And so if I can, and this is tricky, if I can get the vector exactly the same, which is not easy. It's about there. There we go. Now I can fly up behind him, right up to his ship, pretty much. There we go. And match course and speed. There we go. Not quite right, but very close. And he doesn't know I'm there, so I can approach his ship really, really close, right, fly straight up, virtually up into his engines, and then let him go, of course, and then switch there. He was like, "Whoa, who the hell's that? What's that ship doing behind me?" So there's lots of silly games you can play. Can I sit? I don't know. I mean, what else? We should try some games that we can play with the cloaking device. Now we know it's there. So ZX Specky, good afternoon. I hope you're well today and good afternoon. Yes, good to see you, ZX Specky. We've just unlocked the cloaking device in the original Elite on the Spectrum, so we're rather chuffed with ourselves. So they had a cloaking device back then, but not now in modern Elite. Yeah, so more lost tech. Yeah, so the Spectrum version of Elite probably isn't considered canonical by David Braben, I imagine, but here's another thing. Of course, we can show you that they will not. If I cloak now, there we go. The ship will not take evasive action, of course, because it doesn't know I'm there. So this is another way. You just get killed randomly by invisible blocks in space. So this poor Cobra will die a horrible death, and he will not try to get out of the way because he doesn't know I'm there. Boom. He just got killed by nothing, as far as he was concerned. Although he would have spotted me initially. So no, it's not available in Modern Elite. There is no cloaking device in Modern Elite. It's all heat management. Ah, look, here's a pirate. We can have fun with a pirate. So let's let him think he's got a chance. So he's just happened upon a nice juicy Cobra. Oh, it's another Cobra. So this will be quite amusing. Now this is another useful thing. If I fire on him and he launches his missiles, right, there we go, 2 missiles. Now the beautiful thing about this also is if I switch on the cloaking device, oh, that's interesting. The missiles are still tracking me. I thought the cloaking device rendered the missiles would destroy them. Right, the ship can't see me. As you can see, he's just gone straight past me. He doesn't know where I am. But the missiles were still homing in on me. I don't remember that. I thought they blew up. Because it was like an extra ECM. So there we go. Like if I switch the cloaking device off now, say, ha ha ha, I'm behind you. He realises and tries to do something about it. But I've now got his, he's dead at that point. So that's interesting. So it just gives you another way of engaging the enemy. You can now just fly around with sort of impunity almost. So that's cool. Don't know if it works against the Thargoids. We should try that. I need to name my ship the Peekaboo now. Yeah, it must be the only one. It's still, yeah. So maybe there's only one cloaking device. Yeah, that's right. I've got it. Yeah. So the sort of tricks you can do with heat management. So I mean, the cloaking device there is sort of based off the Star Trekky stuff, isn't it? It's just like it wraps you in an invisibility cloak and you disappear. So that's the way it kind of works. Can you sit in front of a space station while cloaked and get all the pythons to crash into? You can. Yes. We can try that. I suppose let's try that for science. Okay, if we can get some pythons to come out, of course. So if I stay on the center line, we're far enough away from the space station, I think, for that to be okay. There's a python, right? There we go. Oh, that was too typical. Right, switch on the cloaking device. Let's disappear. Let's see if another one comes out. That one came out too early. Is another one going to come out before our cloaking device runs out of puff? Probably not. Yeah, so I mean, cloaking devices wouldn't work very well in multiplayer games, would they? The there's a graveyard is an ED, but it's completely cloaked. Well, maybe it is. Maybe that's the answer. No, it's not going to work, is it? Let me switch that off again. Let's see if we can wait for one to appear. And then we'll disappear. So the people aboard the space station are probably thinking, what? Hang on a minute, that Cobra was there, now it's not again. Wait till it comes out and then cloak, yep. Although it's not going to give me one now, typically. See, this game knows we're watching. Yes, there's that other python over there. It's not going to give us one, is it? So let's dock again and let's try again. Reset the thing. So, out we come. Let's get... There you go. Actually, we don't even have to turn around. We can leave it on the rear view. Come on, give us a python. Come on. Give us a python. You can do it. You want to give us a python. Come on. Shoot the station. Oh, I could shoot the station. That could be quite fun. And then just run away with the cloaking device engaged. That's quite good. Because that will launch a whole bunch of Vipers after us. But I don't really want to... There we go. Right, here it is. Right, does it work? Right, cloaking device engaged. There's 2 pythons. Come on, engage the cloak. There we go. Cloak engaged. Right. Python now shouldn't know that we're there. How many pythons are there? Yeah. Right, I'm at minimum thrust. The python is closing on me. It's not going to see me. It's not taking evasive action. That looks like a right mess, doesn't it? This is not going to be good. Ah! Oh. Yep, there it goes. Right, let's not get hit by the second python. One python has just mysteriously disappeared. So, there we go. The python goes, whoa, pull up, pull up. So there we go. We've established that the pythons can't see us coming out of the space station either. Now we do need to check the Thargoids though. So this is important stuff we're doing. Yeah, we're doing for. I'm trolling the NPCs by cloaking in front of them, and then they ram into some invisible object and die horribly. The tragedy of the missing pythons. Ships just keep disappearing in space. There's another one, look. So yes, that's definitely a thing. Right, we should definitely try the Thargoids. Okay. This is quite funny, trolling the 8-bit version of the game from all these years ago. I've never tried any of these things genuinely before. So to do that, we need to pause the game. Let's just do a quick save there. Pause the game. We need to press F. It goes bzzzt. And then we need to start the game again and jump into hyperspace. So, can the Thargoids see us with the cloaking device engaged? Let's find out. Fingers poised on the cloak. Engage cloak. Does it work on the Thargoids? Yes, it does. Can we shoot when cloaked? There's 4 Thargoids here. That one's going to hit me. Ah! Oops. That wasn't a very good move, actually. Cloaking Device is disengaged, sir. Okay, we're recharging. That definitely gave me a tactical advantage over the Thargoids because they definitely couldn't see me. Oh, now they've got me. And I've got no energy for the Cloaking Device again. So it didn't actually give me a massive tactical advantage because I'm still in a really precarious position. But hopefully with just one of them left, I should be able to... well, maybe not. Depends if I can find them. The problem is the screen gets so cluttered with stuff. So the answer here is don't ram the Thargoids when you're cloaked. It's launching Thargons, which will soon turn on me as well. Yes, there we go, got it. So yeah, the Cloaking Device works on the Thargoids as well. Which makes you wonder, maybe it's not, that kind of makes you think it's not Thargoid tech, doesn't it? That's just a piece of alloy. Not very exciting. That's probably a piece of alloy as well. Yeah. Let's roll around and get the other ones before they roll off screen. I can still see them, so that's quite good. They move quite quickly actually, so let's get these Thargons. These are worth a little bit of money. Of course there's nothing else out here because we're in the middle of interstellar space. So yeah, so let's just pick up these bits, then we'll go back. So yeah, so Cloaking Device means that you can evade the Thargoids as well, which is quite a cool thing to have. I've never tested that before, so that's useful to know. But it like you saw, it is a massive drain on the shields, on the energy banks rather. So it's not without its disadvantages, but it does give you some extra tactical choices, which is, I think, good game design, good fun. Let's get that last one. I think that's probably alloys as well, but it might be a Thargon. Let's see. Then we'll go back. Yeah, so I'll remember to turn off the auto interdiction. Or the hyperdiction, I suppose it is really, isn't it? Which, you know, does bear some resemblance to what happens in Elite Dangerous. They've obviously thought about those Thargoid encounters in that light. Is this just more alloys? Just more alloys. Only one Thargon. That was really rather boring, wasn't it? There we go. Oh well. Alloys are okay, right, so cancel hyperdiction mode. Zzz. Reinitialize hyperdrive. Engage. Still playing. Are you a fan of Elite 2? Yes, so I am. Yeah, I like the original games. I like the context. This is the one I grew up with, so this is the one I have massive fond memories of my time as a teenager playing. And the purpose of this stream at the moment is to, and we're now 3/4 of the way there, is to unlock all the missions. Alright, look, here's another pirate we control with. What's he going to do? Hey, because I've got a cloaking device, mate. You can't take me on. Oh, he's running away because I'm in system space. Oh well, never mind. Yeah, so I really like this version of the game. It's got great fond memories for me. The idea of the stream is to capture all the missions, and we've discovered there are 4 missions. We've now done 3 of them. So the first one was the supernova mission, which is quite cool. This is the second one was the pirates have boarded your ship, which isn't really a mission, but it's unexpected different behaviour that occasionally happens, which is now gone because we've hacked the game. Because it was really annoying, and the third one was the one we did today. So we've shot down a ship with a cloaking device, and we've pinched its cloaking device, and we've now got we've now got a cloaking device. So yes, cell cargo is a good suggestion. 4 tons of alloys and presumably 1 ton of alien items. There it is. Yeah. So how much were they going for? Alien items go for 22, whereas alloys go for 42. So actually, alloys are better to have. Right. So given that, yeah, we've achieved a lot today. Now we need to keep jumping about. We'll do it a little bit more measured, I think, and do a few more interesting things. Now we've got a cloaking device, we can cause a bit more mayhem across the chart. But the next one I think is also triggered by a number of jumps, and it's a Thyroid mission. So that's something that's going to be happening as well. So that's one for another stream, I think. But we've made very good progress. Still playing. So am I a fan of Frontier Elite 2? Yes, I am. I like that game quite a lot, but not for the same reasons. This one's more fun. Frontier Elite 2 is much more interesting from an exploration, game mechanics, kind of flying through space sort of perspective, because I like the astronomy in it, because it's one of the first games that actually had sort of semi-realistic physics in it, and astronomy, which I do like. So yes, that one's cool as well. I do like that. Frank Miner, more interested in whether Michael Brooks said no to what? Oh, hang on. Did you ask Michael Brooks if you could use a cloaking device in your book? I didn't use it. I didn't ask him if I could use the cloaking device in my book. No, I did ask, are there cloaking devices in the universe of Elite Dangerous? And the answer to that was no, there are not. And Michael Brooks wanted it done, as somebody's already mentioned, I think it might have even been you, Frank, that it's done by heat management. You effectively become cloaked by managing your heat, and so you're impossible to see against the blackness of space. So that's effectively what a cloaking device is in Elite Dangerous. So the cloaking device, which I believe is unique to the ZX Spectrum version of the original Elite, is not a magical device the way it works here, as you saw it used. It's heat management in the universe of Elite Dangerous, and they're sort of the two. So the way the law was sort of written was that people called it a cloaking device, but it wasn't really. It was just a heat management device, which I actually didn't like very much, but I thought it was a bit of a cop out. But I can't argue with the great Michael Brooks guy. So I like having a cloaking device so I can switch on at will and disappear from people's scanners. I think that's quite cool. So the other versions had the constrictor. What did the constrictor? Kelly Bagler, can you tell me what happened when you killed the constrictor? Because from what I remember, the constrictor was just a really tough ship. It didn't have a cloaking device, but it was just a really, really tough ship. So what happened when you killed the constrictor? Tell me that. So Just Philip says, tell me about your books. Well, I've written two Elite Dangerous official novels. First one's called Reclamation, the other one's called Premonition. So those are out there. And I've written my own science fiction saga as well, called Shapewood Saga. That's 4 books. Last one's just been finished. And I've also written a novelisation for another Spectrum game of this era, Lords of Midnight, and I'm working on the sequel as we speak. Well, not as we speak, because I'm obviously playing this, but Doomdark's Revenge will be hopefully coming out later this year as well. So that's something I'm working on. And so I am an author. That's kind of my day job of many, but that's what I spend a lot of my time doing. But I do like playing computer games too. So that's the thing. If you want any of those, just go to Amazon, your local Amazon, look Drew Wager up. That will take you straight to them. It's nice and easy. So Kelly Bangor says, I think you got loads of kill points and maybe some money, but no new equipment. And the cloak was available on the Amiga version, was it? Okay, so I think it first appeared on the Spectrum version. So I think the Spectrum version lays claim to bringing the cloaking device into the universe of Elite, which is quite good. So let's just see what happens if we shoot a space station, because I think for science we should check that out too. Because of course what should happen, it should launch a bunch of Vipers at us. I won't save this one because we're perfectly clean, sensible people, but let's attack the space station. Well, what we could do actually is we could fly alongside it. Let's do that, and we can see them launch from the entrance. Actually, that might be quite good fun. There's the space station. Right, turn around. There it is. Where's the entrance? It's just over there a little bit. Okay, so let's fly that way. Just a tad. Where's the space station now? There it is. Okay, fly along a little bit, just so we can see the front door. The docking bay, of course. It should really be cool. There we go. Let's turn back towards it. Oh, there's a python. Look, interesting enough, look at the size of it. Look at the docking bay. They didn't do the scale right, that's for sure. So fire. Oh, I'm not even hitting. Oh, look, the collision detection is not very good. There it goes. Right, I fired at the space station, so that should launch a bunch of asps at us. There you go. Well, they sort of launch, appear from the middle. Interesting enough. There's another one. So you can see the scale of this. This is wrong. 3, 3. There we go. Right, so let's run away. Oh, they're firing at me. The cloak. Boom. Oh, you don't know where I went. There I am. I'm over here. So you can actually use the cloaking device intermittently because it takes them a few moments to re-establish where I am, and then bring their weapons to bear. So you can, if you just cloak again, it really throws them off, and then change course, of course, and then disengage the cloak. It really freaks them out because they have to adapt. Oh, it didn't that time. They knew where I was. So let's fly at right angles for a bit. See if that really chucks them off. Can you see me? There I am. Oh no, they're pretty quick. Okay, they acquire me quite fast. Well, I'm about to die. Oh, I'm dead. So there's no carte blanche to attacking a space station. But it is quite a fun thing to play around with, isn't it? So, well, there we go. So I am very pleased. Don't mess with the space rozzers. No, they're pretty vicious. So I'm pretty pleased that we've unlocked the 3rd Spectrum mission. We have only one to go now, which is the Thyroid Invasion, I believe it is, which I've never seen. All the missions up to now I've had vague memories of doing on the original Spectrum version, but I've never seen them on, never seen them live. Now it's good to have experienced them and played them, which is very cool. And I think for 8-bit programming from 1985, this is pretty impressive stuff. But I've never seen the last mission, the Thyroid Invasion, which I believe is where Thargoids take over a space station, and the mission that we have to do is to destroy the space station, which I think is the only time, again, I don't think that was a thing in the BBC or the Commodore 64, you actually get, I believe, to destroy a space station, which I don't think happens in any other version of Elite other than this one. So that in itself is quite a cool little piece of coding and old lore of the original game. So hopefully we'll experience it. Maybe we'll see that next week, so we'll see how it goes. What happens when I shoot the station while cloaked? Well, that's a good question. Let's just quickly do that. Oh, there's a python. See, when you want one, you can't get one. Right, so I'm going to cloak. It's going to, hang on a minute, there was a cobra there a moment ago. There we go. And let's shoot the space station. So they're probably thinking, what's going on? Now, as far as I'm aware, you can't destroy a space station in this mode of the game. Even with the military lasers, I presume it's set to not be destroyable. Of course, they're not launching because they can't see me. So I've given it 2 full rounds of, 2 full rounds of military laser fire. But no Vipers launch. The moment I decloak, I imagine they'll come straight out. Are they going to come out? They're all going, oh, we better get to our ships. Or maybe not. Oh, there you go. Yes, they are. Yeah, it took a while for them to scramble, but there's one. So yeah, they do come out eventually. Well, there's one anyway. It's a bit not a very good tactical arrangement for just one to launch, is it? Oh, I think there's others now. Yeah, there's multiple ones coming up. So yeah, so they do eventually get their act together. Engage cloak. Run away. See how far I can get before the cloaking device runs out of power. So yeah, so stuff just tickling it. Yeah, I think. According to the wiki, the cougar doesn't cloak, which is a bit poor. Okay. Don't mess with the space rozzers. No, definitely not. So there we go. The cloaking device is about to conk out. Energy low, and the Vipers will then rip me to shreds, I imagine. Yeah, they will. So that answers that question. So we're just about to die again on camera. But so yeah, it's funny playing some of the game mechanics against each other. I am enjoying this. It's good fun to be going looking at this thing. So we have, boom, there we go, died again. So we have one more mission to work out, and that's going to be hopefully next week's stream. So, and then we'll have to decide what we're going to do, because we'll have done the Spectrum version of Elite to death by that point. I think we'll have a look at something else after that, because we've been doing this for a while. But once I've captured that last mission, that'll be good fun. Anyway, my friends, you guys take absolute care of yourselves. Thank you very much for joining me on a sunny Saturday afternoon. Actually, it's nice out there. And experiencing that amazing cloaked asp mission, and for all your sage counsel in how to deal with the asp. I'm glad I've saved those, because they're quite fun to replay. So, but that was really, really good. So really good to have captured that as well. Thank you very much. Back on Monday. I'm actually launching my books on Monday. So I've got a special stream about all my new books, the Shadewood Saga stuff. So that's going to be a stream devoted to that. Thursday, we're prepping for the Elite Dangerous. Departing to go and see the Zuara in the Formidine Rift, so if you'd like to drop along to that, you can, and then we're back around as usual. So yeah, that's what we do. A nod to 80s nostalgia and fedoras, of course. So that's what we would do. But anyway, lovely to see you all. You guys take care. Have a fantastic weekend. Be good. Enjoy yourselves. And right on, Commanders, which we didn't see today actually, but we will. We'll see that again. Right on, Commanders. See you anon. Be good. Bye bye.